Hello guys, welcome back to the channel BTD. In the previous section, we discussed about Kafka topics and how partitions are created. Today we are going to discuss about producers and consumers. As we already learned about the topics, which is the central part, producers are on the other side and consumers are on the receiving end. Producers provide data to the topics and from the topics consumer consumes the data. Let us dive into producers. Producers generally create a data and send it to the topics. So when it sends to a topic, it sends to the different partitions within the topic. The data is sent in the form of key value pair or just value. When we are saying that it is sent as a form of key value pair, say for example, there is a string called hello. So this constitutes only as value. But if we are sending hello with the key, then it looks like this. When we are sending a value in the form of key value pair, then hashing concept is utilized. If we are sending just the value, then round robin method is utilized. That is, we have multiple partitions, P1, P2, P3. When we send just the value, then the messages get into the partition one by one in the form of round robin method. That is, the first message M1 goes into the P1 and M2 goes into the P2 and M3 goes into the P3, and similarly the next message goes into the first partition again. It follows the round robin method. Consider if we are sending the value in the form of key value pair, then hashing concept is utilized. That is, say for example, we have again P1 and P2. We have a hashing logic in which it sends the message to a particular partition depending on the logic. Say for example, in this logic, we send all even numbers to the P1 and odd numbers to the P2. Then say for example, the message contains the key value as 2 and then the value, and there is another message with the key as 3 and the value as V1 or V2. Then the first key value pair, that is 2 and V1, goes into the partition P1. Similarly, the second message 3, V2 goes into P2. This happens because the hashing concept lets the message go into P1 and P2 according to the logic provided. Now let us look into how the messages are sent from producer to the consumer at a very high level. Say for example, on the producer side, we have a message called hi, and we want to send it to the consumer. But how does Kafka know the word hi? So in order to make this hi move from producer to the consumer, we will convert this hi message into bytes. This conversion is called as serialization. In this method, all the values are in the form of zeros and ones. Now Kafka can understand this particular information and then it can process it. Similarly, on the consumer end, we cannot understand the byte value. So we convert the byte value into object value again. This conversion is called as deserialization. That is, the value zeros and ones from the word hi is again converted back to the string format and then the consumers consume it. There are several serialization and deserialization tools. Say for example, the popular formats are Avro. This is one of the popular tools which we use. And Kafka also has some inbuilt tools. We can directly use string serialization and string deserialization for string type of objects. Similarly, for integer, we have integer serialization and integer deserialization objects. This is applicable on both producer and consumer end. That's it for now. In the next session, we will discuss about consumer groups and offsets. Offsets are nothing but the position of messages within the topic. Say for example, we have T1 and we sent messages continuously into the topic. Say for example, the messages are M1, M2 and so on. And these messages occupy with the timestamp as 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. If a producer sends the data continuously and consumer is picking up to a certain limit, say till 1, it is fine. But once the consumer stops consuming the data, then the offset is actually stored at 1. Similarly, when the consumer comes back, it actually looks at this particular one and starts reading the messages from here. So this particular value is called as offset. We will discuss in detail about this in the next chapter. Thank you.